Hello students, I am Dr. Himanshu Kandpal, Assistant Professor English, Government MS College for Women, Bikaner. Today we are going to study the essay Professions for Women written by one of the significant 20th century writer, Virginia Woolf. About the author. Born in 1882, Virginia Woolf was an English writer. She was among the prominent writers of the modernist era of literature. Virginia Woolf was born in London, a descendant of one of Victorian England's most prestigious literary families. She grew up in a large, talented family, educating herself in her father's magnificent library, meeting many Victorian scholars, learning Greek and Latin. Woolf came naturally into the profession of writing. Moving among writers and artists, her world was from the beginning the cultural world of the middle class and upper middle London. She rebelled against what she called materialism of some of the novelists of her time and sought a more delicate rendering of those aspects of consciousness in which she felt the truth of human condition really lay. Throughout her work, she celebrates and analyzes the Bloomsbury value of aestheticism, feminism, and independence. She is credited with pioneering the narrative device of stream of consciousness. Moreover, her stream of consciousness style was influenced by work of the French thinkers Henry Bergson and novelist Marcel Proust and James Joyce. She is also considered one of the strongest figures of feminism, and her work is cited in many feminist writing. Her most famous works are Mrs. Dalloway and To the Lighthouse, among others. She suffered from deep bouts of depression and passed away after committing suicide by drowning in the year 1941. Here it is important to mention that Virginia Woolf developed her own style, that is, stream of consciousness, which she handled with a careful, modulated poetic flow and brought into prose fiction something of the rhythms and imagery of poetry. William James, in his book Principle of Psychology in 1890, coined the term stream of consciousness, which is a metaphor to describe the flux of the mind, its continuity, and yet its continuous change. According to an anonymous writer, he spoke in relation to Virginia Woolf, the sketches in which she explored the possibilities of moving between action and contemplation, between specific external elements in time and delicate tracings of the flow of consciousness, where the mind moves in retrospect and anticipation. And this technique is developed in her novel To the Lighthouse. Woolf's use of the multi-personal representation of consciousness is unique through its combination with treatment of time. Now we are going to read something about the essay Professions for Women. Professions for Women is a part of the speech Virginia Woolf gave on January 21, 1931 for the National Society for Women's Service. It was published in The Death of the Moth and Other Essays posthumously. The essay addresses women who wish to work in the professional fields and how or why it is difficult because most fields are predominantly male. So, in 1931, Virginia Woolf was asked to give a speech to the London National Society for Women's Service on the topic of the employment of women. In the speech and subsequent essay, Professions for Women, Woolf openly admits that though she is a woman and employed, she has not had what many might consider professional experiences, since she works at home alone, writing in a room of her own. However, She continues in the essay that there have been obstacles in the profession of writing that she has had to overcome as a woman writer, one of which she calls the voice of the angel in the house. Initially, she calls this presence a phantom, but then decides to name her after the heroine of the famous 1854 poem The Angel in the House, that is written by Coventry Patmore. This angel came into her writing room often while she was engrossed in her work. So, in this essay, Professions for Women, she is hopeful that younger women writers have never and will never encounter this phantom. So, this is about the essay Professions for Women. Thank you.